A very warm welcome to all of you guys. Good afternoon and welcome once again. So yesterday we discussed about the chapter that growing up as boys and girls, and we discussed about the gender discrimination, and we're continuing the same chapter, that is the NCERT, the same series, that is the NCERT class 7 political science, and we are here into the next chapter, that how the women changed this world. Okay, so the previous chapter and this chapter is all about the gender discrimination and the women empowerment. Okay, the word is actually women empowerment. Now, what is women empowerment and how does it matters to us in our UPSC exam syllabus preparation and everything? Okay, so point is, what we are discussing is women empowerment. Okay, women empowerment. महिला सशक्तिकरण. Now, what do you mean by women empowerment? महिला सशक्तिकरण से हमारा मतलब क्या है? तो यहाँ पे सिंपली कहने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम इनको सुपर पावर्स देना है, हमें अपनी फीमेल्स को एक मतलब सुपर गर्ल, सुपर वुमेन बनाना है, कैप्टन मार्वल बनाना है. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. यहाँ पर women empowerment से मतलब है, महिला सशक्तिकरण से मतलब है, that is the rights which a woman deserved. Rights which some women deserve, not some, the rights which women deserve, okay, those rights should be there for those women. Okay, simply, this is simply one statement, that just with the statement women empowerment, just provide the rights the woman deserves. Okay, that's it, simply, nothing else. No need of any special powers, extra powers and all. No, that's not required as of now. That is not required, not now, that is not even required. Just we are talking about, that is we do have to provide the rights. That means, what does this means actually? इसका simple मतलब क्या? यानी कि कहीं ना कहीं we have seen that these women are not having rights. When we talk about women empowerment, that means this word itself is discriminatory. That means it shows that women are not treated equal. That they do not have got their actual rights, what they deserve. Okay, and this whole last chapter also dealt with the same point, and this chapter is also dealing with the same points. Okay, now this chapter is just with some other points as well, that how the women changed this world. Okay, that women, how they have changed this world. What was the role of women in the present context? What is the role of a woman in the present context? How women have changed this world. So it's very shocking for each and every one of us to understand the whole history, that how women have changed this world. In the present scenario, we can see that yes, that in India, how many female prime ministers we had. Okay, so far, since 1950s till 2020s, we had just one female prime minister, and yes, Indira Gandhi. How many females president of India? How many females president we have so far? That's just one, Pratibha Patil. Okay, or how many female defense ministers we had? Right? So last year also she was the first female defense minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, and being the first female finance minister as well. Okay, so this is something that we are watching into the present zone. Okay, yes, only one. Okay, one president, one female president, just one female president, just one female prime minister, just one female finance minister, just one female defense minister, and no such vice presidents as well so far. Okay, so now when we talk about just Indian politics, so what are the names we have in Indian politics? If you talk about Indian politics, what are the bigger names we have? Okay, why not Indian women are president or prime ministers? Then how big names we have? So far, presently in India, just two names when it comes to female politicians. Yes, one is from Calcutta, one is from UP. One is from West Bengal, one is from UP. That is Mamata Banerjee from West Bengal, and UP, Mayawati. Right? Apart from that, any other prominent female leader? No. Or else you can say Vasundhara Raje, Rajasthan. Apart from that, no prominent leader. Yes, we had Amma, Jayalalitha, late Jayalalitha, who ruled actually the hearts of the Tamil people. But she's no more actually right now. Okay, so we cannot take the name of Amma, that is Jayalalitha, so she's not there. Yes, but she was there. Okay, apart from that, Sushma Swaraj, yes, a very good leader, very prominent leader. Okay, but just hold the portfolio of the External Affairs Ministry. So the names, like how many politicians are there in India? Lakhs and lakhs. And how many female politicians we do have prominent? 3, 4, 5 or 10? I will say not even in triple figures, double figures में नाम हो जाए बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. So ये तो एक concept है. Now let's talk about history. When you talk about history, then how many female rulers we had? Yes guys, can you please comment about the female rulers? I'm waiting for a comment. Just please do let me know the comment that how many female rulers we had in our whole history, in the entire Indian history. Not just in Indian history. If you talk about worldwide also, there were not too many female leaders. Okay? Yes, go ahead guys. How many Indian female rulers we had from ancient history till the present? Okay, from ancient, medieval and modern history, please comment. How many Indian leaders you have seen? How many Indian female leaders? Okay, so the first and the foremost name will come Razia Sultan. Ruled not for more than 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Razia Sultan, who was actually a direct ruler, who actually acquired the throne. Razia Sultan. Okay, no apart from that, none other person, none other female leader, just one, Razia Sultan. That's it. Okay, apart from that, whosoever was on the throne was as a regent or as just a caretaker. Like we have name of Begum Hazrat Mahal. Okay, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Awadh. So Begum Sahiba ruled the throne of Awadh, but only after the demise of her husband and just as a caretaker. Apart from that, if we have to take any other name, then we are lacking. Yes, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Jhansi ki Rani Lakshmi Bai. Yes, we had another name as well, but Rani Lakshmi Bai also ruled the throne only after the demise of her husband. And actually she was ruling Jhansi for a very quite less time, and also in that rule she was just not actually ruling, she was actually fighting against the British, right? So these are the leaders. See, अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं पिछले 1000 साल की हिस्ट्री की, तो उस 1000 साल में हमारे पास मुश्किल से 3 नाम हैं, जिसमें से एक्चुअल लीडर अगर हम बोलें जिसको एक्चुअली थ्रोन मिला था, तो इट वाज जस्ट रजिया सुल्तान, राइट? Rani Durgavati, okay, Rani Durgavati also, but not directly the throne accessor, right? So गिन चुन के 3, 4, 5 नाम आप दे सकते हो, शायद वो भी, और डायरेक्ट थ्रोन की अगर हम बात करें तो रजिया सुल्तान के अलावा और कोई नाम भी नहीं हमारे पास, है ना? सो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंड फ्रॉम द अर्लियर स्टेजेस. अगर आप गुप्ता पीरियड, हड़प्पा पीरियड, मोहनजोदारो, मौर्य पीरियड, दैट इज द एंशिएंट इंडियन हिस्ट्री, मिडिवल इंडियन हिस्ट्री, वेदर फ्रॉम दिल्ली सल्तनत और वेदर फ्रॉम मुगल डायनेसिटी और वेदर फ्रॉम द साउथ इंडियन किंगडम, ओके, द द्रविड़ डायनेसिटीज एंड ऑल, या फिर अगर आप बात करोगे नवाबी ऑफ बंगाल की, या फिर एनी नॉर्दर्न और सदर्न किंगडम, या फिर प्रेजेंट अगर आप बात करोगे मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री की, तो उसमें भी आप देखोगे कि किस तरीके से वहां पर बहुत लीस्ट नंबर ऑफ वुमेन थी. लेस नहीं बोलेंगे, लीस्ट नंबर ऑफ वुमेन. दैट इज द लीस्टनेस की बात कुछ ऐसी थी कि अगर हम अपनी हिस्ट्री जब पढ़ते हैं तो उसमें हमारे पास एक अलग से चैप्टर भी आता है, दैट इज द रोल ऑफ वुमेन इन द इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट. कुछ गिन चुन के नाम होते हैं हमारे पास, यस, सरोजनी नायडू, उषा मेहता, ये सब नाम ले पाते हैं हम लोग, है ना? बट इनमें से प्रोमिनेंट कोई आगे आ पाया उस वक्त? जो आने की कोशिश किया शायद नहीं भी आ पाया. ऐसा नहीं है कि वुमेन्स ने ट्राई नहीं किया. यस, देयर वाज अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द वुमेन सोसाइटी, फ्रॉम द वुमेन सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी. दे गेव देयर 100% कंट्रीब्यूशन अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर स्ट्रेंथ इनटू दैट टाइम ऑफ द सोसाइटी. ओके, अगर आप बात करें हम इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट की, तो अगर हम बात करते हैं 1857 से 1947 थी, जब हालात आज इतने बदतर हैं, तो हम तो बात कर रहे हैं आज से 100-150 साल पहले की. ओके, तो ये 100-150 साल पहले की हिस्ट्री में आप समझो कि उस वक्त तो और स्टीरियोटाइप और ऑर्थोडॉक्स मेंटालिटी हुआ करती थी हमारी, और उस जमाने में भी हमारे पास वुमेन्स थी जो आगे बढ़कर आ रही थी और लीड कर रही थी कहीं ना कहीं से किसी ना किसी रिवॉल्यूशन को. बट यस, लीस्ट नंबर, ऑब्वियसली आधा हर 100 में से कोई 2 या 3 ही वुमेन हो पाती थी, बाकी 95-97 जो होते थे वो मेल्स ही होते थे. But this was a scenario into the eras of 1940s, 30s, 20s or something. We are dealing with 2020. how present day women have changed this world and how much rights they have got and what is actually this women empowerment. Okay, so let's understand all of these points with the help of this chapter. So I'll be reading this chapter. So let's move ahead. Okay, fewer opportunities and rigid expectations. Yes, the fewer opportunities and rigid expectations. Now see this point, what it actually tries to explain. A lot of the children in Rosie ma'am's class drew women as nurse and men as army officers. The reason they did this is because they feel that outside the home too, women are good at only certain jobs. For example, many people believe that women make better nurses because they are more patient and gentle. Okay, okay, that's the point. This is linked to women's roles within the family. Similarly, it is believed that science requires a technical mind and girls and women are not capable of dealing with technical things. This is a stereotype mentality, guys. This is a stereotype mentality which is inculcated in the minds of the Indian students. Okay, this is a mentality which is inculcated into the minds of Indian students. We do not have a separate women battalion so far. When it comes to the Indian women into the Indian defense system, whether Navy, Air Force or Army, we can see that how big news it becomes when we see that, oh, this particular jet has got a female pilot. So this becomes the front line, the heading of the news channels and the newspapers. We talk about the All Indian Battalion, the All Indian Female Battalion. It's a dreamboat. It's nowhere. So we have seen that how Indian Navy took the initiative and it sailed a boat, a ship into the Indian Ocean with full of the female crew members only. And this was a news that Indian Navy has sailed a ship into the Indian Ocean with all the crew members being a female. Why this is the news? Why isn't this a normal one? Because earlier, why this is a news? Because earlier there used to be a general perception that the sailing ships, they used to have 100% of the males only, or 99.99% of the males only, right? But this time it was 100% of the females, so it's a news. Okay, the concept is here in the last class what we discussed, that masculinity, I am masculine, I am a male, and male means masculine. And a female means non-masculine. Now, what masculine power do you have? You don't have any power as a female. We think of this, that this generally happens. But no, that's wrong. And that's why you can see here, when the students were asked to draw, maximum of them, they draw army with males and nurses with females. If we talk about the heavy work, it's the males. And when you talk about the some certain small amount of jobs, not small, but something which doesn't require too masculine power, that is the females. Okay, that is the females. So this is a stereotype mentality which has been inculcated from the very beginning of the Indian kids. And this is all these minds are when they grow up, this is all when they transfer to the next generation. So next para, because so many people believe in these stereotypes, many girls do not get the same support that boys do to study and train to become doctors and engineers. In most families, once girls finish school, they are encouraged by their families to see marriage as their main aim in life. Yes, this is also a main stereotype. If I'm a boy, I've completed my graduation, so my father will ask what next. I'll go ahead, that I will say I'm willing to work, or I'm willing to have my post-graduation. And post-graduation, what next? I'm willing to work? No, I'm willing to prepare for some competitive exams. Okay, no issues. But same if it comes to my sister. What about graduation? Graduation करना है या नहीं, या direct शादी ही कर लें? या graduation हो गया, चलो कोई नहीं, it's okay. Now let's get married. Okay, now let's get you married. This is what the female stereotype mentality in India is. A stereotype mentality with regard to the females in India is. Okay, that is, we are provide more opportunities to the males as compared to the females. And why this is so? Once again, the same concept, masculinity. When masculinity harms men, it is all about that masculinity has harmed more men rather than the female, rather than the males. Okay. So the next point, the breaking stereotype. Engine drivers are men. Yes, they are. But 27-year-old Lakshmi Lakra from a poor tribal family in Jharkhand has begun to change things. She's the first woman engine driver for Northern Railways. Yes, you can write it down as well. It won't be asked in your UPSC prelims that who is the first female engine driver in Northern Railways or in the Indian Railways. No, this is not an important point from your prelims perspective, but yes, this is some kind of a point which you can denote it in your mains paper when you talk about the women empowerment. When you are writing an essay on women empowerment, or when you're writing an essay in the governance section or in the ethics section. So this is something which will help you. Okay. So 27-year-old Lakshmi Lakra from a tribal family. Yes, two things. First thing, she is a female. Second thing, she is poor. And third thing, she is from a tribal family. Three things. So this person had 3 blocks in her life. Firstly, she is a woman, the biggest block. Secondly, she is poor. And thirdly, she is from a tribal family. Okay, that means totally depressed, totally exploited class. India के perspective से यही देखते आ रहे हैं ना हम. Okay, so she is the first women engine driver in Northern Railways. Next para. Lakshmi's parents are not literate, but they struggled and overcame many hardships to make sure their children got an education. Lakshmi studied in a government school. Even in school, Lakshmi helped with the housework and did odd jobs. She studied hard and did well, and then went on to get a diploma in the electronics. Okay, so this is the next point. She got a diploma in electronics. जब भी हम बात करते हैं ना हमारे इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस की, so see, I'm not an engineer first of all, but yes, maximum of my friends they are. So according to their knowledge and information what they have given, that there is too much scarcity of females in some branches, that is electronics and mechanical. That out of every 10, only 2 are females. The rest 8 are males. But the things are different when it comes to other sections, like for example, the computer science or the information and technology. Because this is something which doesn't need masculine work. Okay, so there are 5 out of 5:5 ratio, or maybe 6:4 ratio. Even in some colleges we have seen according to the data. So it's in the initial stages itself that masculinity, where it's harming men, right? Or is it harming females? It's harming all of us actually. Why? Because maybe Lakshmi, she has took electronics and now she has proven that yes, I can drive a whole engine. But what if Lakshmi has not taken this? Lakshmi has not done the diploma on the grounds that she is a female, or she might have done just normal graduation or something from some other courses. So we would have lost one of the very good drivers. We need a very efficient electronics engineer or diploma holder when it comes to the railway handling, or the mechanical engineer or diploma holder when it comes to the railway engine handling. So Lakshmi has proven something, that it's not just about being a stereotype that I'm a female, I should opt for a light course, light course. That means a course which will provide a job in the future, but a light job, not some kind of a masculine job. So Lakshmi says, I love challenges, and the moment somebody says it is not for girls, I make sure I go ahead and do it. So Lakshmi has had to do this several times in her life. When she wanted to take electronics, when she rode motorcycles at the Polytechnic, and when she decided to become an engine driver. Her philosophy is simple: as long as I am having fun without harming anyone, as long as I am doing well and helping my parents, why should I not lead a lifestyle of my choice? A brilliant statement. You should note it down as well. These are the kind of statements which do helps you in your personality test round, interview round, and the mains examination. For sure. See the statement, how brilliant it is. Yes, for sure it is. As long as I'm having fun, but without harming anyone. I am having fun without harming anyone. Okay? As long as I'm having fun without harming anyone, and as long as I am doing well, that is helping my parents and all, then why should not I lead a lifestyle of my choice? Being a male, I'm having fun, yes, without disturbing others, without harming others, okay? I'm doing well, helping my parents, then I have the option to live my life according to my own terms and conditions. Then this is also applicable to the females. With this one particular statement, Lakshmi has cleared out everything, and this has cleared out us equality before law. Whether male or female, we are equal in the eyes of law, and no one has the right to discriminate whether an engine driver will be a male or a female, whether a doctor will be a male or a female, whether a nurse will be a male or a female, a lawyer or a judge or any XYZ profession will be held by a female or a male, right? So that's the same concept applicable into the Indian defense system, Indian political system, and any system which we have. So moving ahead, it is important to understand that we live in a society in which all children face pressures from the world around them. So see this para, once again, what it tries to say. It is important to understand that we live in a society in which all children, all, that means all, regardless of the male and female, face pressures from the world around them. Sometimes these come in the form of demands from adults. At other times, they can just be because of unfair teasing by our own friends. Boys are pressurized to think about getting a job that will pay a good salary. They are also tested and bullied if they do not behave like other boys. You may remember that in your class for sure, okay? And इसमें देखो यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? You may remember that in your class 6 book, you read about how boys at an early stage are encouraged not to cry in front of others. Okay, so remember we had this discussion that being a male, I am shown that, you know, I am a boy. I cannot cry. I am a boy and I cannot cry. See, tears, emotions, sentiments. Tears, emotions, and sentiments have nothing to do with the gender. It's not like that I am a boy and my hormones, my cells, my thinkings and all, they are quite rigid. No. The emotions and sentiments are totally neutral regardless of the gender. Male, female, third gender, whatsoever. So, and in the same thing, the crying is something, is a result of emotions itself. When you're happy, then also you may cry. When you are sad, you will also cry. So this is something which is neutral, gender neutral, naturally neutral. It has no discrimination. But still, in a society, we decide that you're a boy and you cannot cry in front of others. मतलब कि अकेले में रो लो. कहने का मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है? In front of others. कहने का मतलब है कि अकेले में रो लो जितना रोना है, लेकिन दूसरों के सामने नहीं रोना, बेइज्जती हो जाएगी. कह रहे हो यार बताओ कैसे लड़कियों की तरह रो रहा है. तो ये लड़कियों की तरह रोना क्या होता है? सबसे पहली चीज, ये क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ये लड़कियों की तरह रोना क्या होता है? कैन एनीवन हैज दिस आंसर? हम बोलते हैं ना कि अगर किसी मेल को हम रोते हुए देखते हैं तो हम उसको बोलते हैं ना क्या यार लड़कियों की तरह रो रहा है. हाँ, कैसे वो बॉलीवुड की फिल्मों का डायलॉग बड़ा फेमस है इसमें, इस मामले में, कि कैसे छोरी के माफिक रोता है ना. तो क्या होता है छोरी के माफिक रोना, लड़की की तरह रोना? कैसे बोलते हैं उसे, मतलब वो किस टाइप का रोना है जो अलग से नेचर ने बना रखा है कि इस तरीके से लड़की रोएगी, उस तरीके से लड़का रोएगा? दिस इज नथिंग, दिस इज जस्ट a nonsense tradition, not also tradition, just some nonsense thoughts inspired by the Indian society, taken up by the Indian society, and yes, forwarded as well, transferred as well from generation to generation. So learning from change. So might remember in the previous chapters we have discussed about discrimination, the social discrimination, inequality, and we discussed about a story of Mahavir Valmiki, right? Mahavir Valmiki, how he faced some discrimination, some sort of discrimination on the grounds of caste. And here we are watching that discriminations are there on the grounds of not caste but on gender. Okay, so let's go ahead. So going to school is an extremely important part of your life. As more and more children enter school every year, we begin to think that it is normal for all children to go to school. Today, it is difficult for us to imagine that school and learning could be seen as out of bounds or not appropriate for some children. But in the past, the skill of reading and writing was known to only a few. Most children learned the work their families or elders did. And for girls, the situation was worse. In communities that taught sons to read and write, daughters were not allowed to learn the alphabet as well. Even in families where skills like pottery, weaving, and craft were taught, the contribution of daughters and women was only seen as supportive. So the support staff, kaun hoga? The women, the female. And yes, this is also shown in the movies as well. और यहाँ पर तो बॉलीवुड की नॉर्मल मूवीज और हॉलीवुड की जो साईफाई मूवीज हैं वो इसमें बहुत आगे हैं कि हॉलीवुड की जो साईफाई मूवीज होती हैं हमारी, उसमें जो हीरो होता है, यानी कि जो सुपर हीरो एक्चुअली जो होता है, उसका अगर आप साइड किक देखो तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टाइम विल फाइंड अ वुमेन, है ना. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टाइम विल फाइंड इट टू बी अ वुमेन ओनली, है ना. सो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज शोन, रिप्रेजेंटेड. सो अहेड फर्दर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, in the pottery trade, women collected the mud and prepared the earth for the pots. But since they did not operate the wheel, they were not seen as potters. Okay, they were just the person who collect the mud and give it to the main artist. So in the 19th century, many new ideas about education and learning emerged. Schools became more common, and communities that had never learned reading and writing started sending their children to school. But there was a lot of opposition to educating girls even then. Yet many women and men made efforts to open school for girls. Women struggled to learn to read and write. Okay, yes, so this is the point. Women struggled, yet many women and men made efforts to open schools for girls. Women struggled to learn to read and write. अब ऐसे में अगर आप बात करते हो कि विमेन एजुकेशन के उस टाइम हालात क्या थे इंडिया में, सो आई विल गिव यू सम होमवर्क. सो आप चाहो तो इसे गूगल सर्च कर सकते हो. आप जब हिस्ट्री पढ़ोगे तो उसमें पढ़ोगे भी दी हंटर कमिटी ऑन एजुकेशन ऑन दी क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज इन इंडिया 1854 में आती है. ओके, दी हंटर कमिटी, जहाँ पे एजुकेशन, दी मॉडर्न और वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन की बात करेगी, और इसमें ये गर्ल्स और बॉयज़ दोनों के लिए एक प्रॉपर एजुकेशन सिस्टम की बात रखेगी. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, देयर इज अ नेम ऑफ ज्योतिबा फूले, who opened a separate school for the girls, especially the Dalit girls. Apart from that, yes, we have seen the name of Annie Besant and Sarojini Naidu, that how they worked towards the female education. Not just only education, but also in that priority specialized area, female education. Okay, so these were some organizations, or these were some bodies, that is the persons who worked brilliantly towards the education of women. And apart from that, this year's prelims, if you talk about this year's prelims, you will see there was a question as well. 2020 का अगर आप prelims का question paper देखोगे, so there was a question as well which was talking about the case of some 1890s case known as रुक्माबाई's case. So 4 बातें मैंने आपको बताई हैं. इन चारों पर अगर आप एक छोटा सा गूगल रिसर्च करोगे तो आपको इसके आंसर्स मिलेंगे, and you will feel very good to see those answers as well, because this is something which is related to our chapter and women empowerment. And yes, women empowerment is one of the most important points which UPSC loves to ask. You will see the question, see the mains syllabus in detail. So you'll find women empowerment as a separate subject in the mains examination syllabus. Today, try to open it and go into the detailed syllabus of the mains examination. You will find women empowerment as a separate subject. Okay, which is related with multiple subjects: polity, history, governance of the polity, or the international relations. It also deals with the women empowerment. Apart from that, the social issues, social justice, economics also deals with women empowerment. Okay, and yes, ethics it does for sure. So this is how this is what happens, that how women struggled. So here is the story of Ramabai. Okay, Ramabai with her daughter. So see what is written here. Ramabai, that is aged between 1858 to 1922, shows above with her daughter, championed the cause of women's education. She never went to school but learnt to read and write from her parents. She was given the title Pandita because she could read and write Sanskrit. one more important thing, a woman who is able to read and write Sanskrit, because Sanskrit was also a subject which was taught firstly only to the higher caste Hindu communities, and apart from that majorly to the boys as well. So she was given the title of Pandita. देखो यूपीएससी का कोई भरोसा नहीं है, ये एनसीईआरटी से ना डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन उठा के पूछते हैं. Yes, direct, word by word. So this is something which you can note it down. Ramabai, who was given the title of Pandita in Indian history, Pandita. So it is Ramabai. Why? Because she was able to read and write Sanskrit. So she was given the title of Pandita because she was able to read and write Sanskrit. A remarkable achievement as a woman. Then were not allowed, because they were not allowed to have such knowledge. She went on to set up a mission in Khedgaon near Pune in 1898, where widows and poor women were encouraged not only to become literate but to be independent. They were taught a variety of skills from carpentry to running a printing press, skills that are not usually taught to girls even today. Yes, if we talk about carpenter, okay, if we talk about carpenter, yes, carpenter, who is a carpenter? Yes, the one who paints car, na? Okay, so the carpenter and the printing press, and the one who operates the printing press. This is something which is still today is done by 99% only males. Like if I talk about personally, I haven't seen a female carpenter in my life. I don't know about you guys, you might have or might not be, but yes, I am also very sure आपने भी नहीं ही देखा होगा female carpenter. Okay, या printing press operator. So a female carpenter is absent. So this is something which the which Ramabai used to teach. Okay, which was where it was started, Khedgaon, Pune. Time period 1898. So next, let us read about the experience of Raj Sundari Devi. Raj Sundari Devi, who was born in West Bengal some 200 years ago. At the age of 60, she wrote her autobiography in Bangla. Her book is titled as Amar Jeeban. Amar Jeeban, so you can note it down as well. These are the questions which do comes into the history section, not into the polity section, but yes, they are important. So Amar Jeeban is an autobiography written by whom? Raj Sundari Devi. Okay, Amar Jeeban. Amar Jeeban, written by whom? Raj Sundari Devi. Raj Sundari Devi. So her book titled Amar Jeeban is the first known autobiography written by an Indian woman. What is the importance of this book? This is the first known autobiography written by an Indian woman. Okay. So Raj Sundari Devi was a housewife from a rich landlord's family. At that time, it was believed that if a woman learned to read and write, she would bring bad luck to her husband and become a widow. What a great thought. If a woman learned to read and write, this could be the bad luck and she may kill her husband and get widow. She might get her husband killed, मतलब not like she will kill her husband, but उसके पढ़ने लिखने की वजह से एक काला साया, कुछ भूत प्रेत जिन जिन्नात कुछ जो है लग जाएगा और इसकी वजह से उसके हस्बैंड की मौत हो सकती है और वो विडो बन सकती है. और इस टाइम तो सती प्रथा भी चल रही थी, है ना. सो ये एक ऐसी थॉट थी. सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड एब्सोल्यूट नॉनसेंस. यस, इफ ए वुमन गेट्स टू रीड एंड राइट, इट विल बी अ बैड लक. ओके, आज की डेट में बोल के देखो ये चीज बाहर. So, despite she taught herself how to read and write in secret, well after her marriage, only after her marriage she learnt it. So I would start working at down, and I would still be at it until well beyond midnight. I had no rest in between. I was only 14 years old at the time I came to nurture a great longing. I would learn to read and I would read a religious manuscript. I was unlucky in those days. Women were not educated. Later, I began to resent my own thoughts. What is wrong with me? Women did not read. How will I read? How will I do it? Then I had a dream. I was reading the manuscript of Chaitanya Bhagavat. इसे चेतन भगत मत समझ लेना, ये चैतन्य भगावत है. Okay, I can understand this resembles too much close with Chetan Bhagat, but that is Chaitanya Bhagavat. Okay, the life of a saint. That means the life of a saint. Later in the day, as I sat cooking in the kitchen, I heard my husband say to my eldest son, Bipin, I have left my Chaitanya Bhagavat here. When I ask for it, bring it in. He left the book there and went away. When the book had been taken inside, I secretly took out a page and hid it carefully. It was a job hiding it. For nobody must find it in my hands, because for sure it will bring bad luck. अब तक नहीं था, लेकिन अगर किसी ने पढ़ते हुए देख लिया तो बैड लक हो जाएगा, और बैड लक हो गया तो पति बेचारा मारा जाएगा. ओके, वह और बैड लक कहां से आया? बिकॉज द women knew how to read and write. So my eldest son was practicing his alphabets at that time. I hid one of them as well. At times, I went over that, trying to match letters from that page with the letters that I remembered. I also tried to match the words with those that I would hear in the course of my days with tremendous care and effort, and over a long period of time, I learned how to read. So this was the rights of women into those periods, 18th, 19th, and the early first half of the 20th centuries, or the whole of the 20th century, you can say. Okay, that how the women, पढ़ना लिखना और पढ़ना जो सबसे बेसिक चीज है हमारी लाइफ में, उस चीज को एक वुमेन कितना स्ट्रगल करती है कि पेज चुरा के रखो. इट इज अ जॉब कि उसको चुरा कर रखो, क्योंकि अगर किसी ने देख लिया तो बवाल हो जाएगा, दंगे भी हो सकते हैं, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. अल्फाबेट्स मैच करके देखना पड़ रहा है, जो मैंने पढ़ा था और जो मेरा बच्चा पढ़ रहा है, दोनों में फर्क क्या है, मैं समझ पा रही हूं या नहीं. ओके, सो दिस वॉज द वर्ल्ड एट दैट टाइम. And even today, the world has not totally changed. World, that is Indian world. Okay, even today, the Indian world has not totally changed. Okay, it's good in urban areas. It's changing in the rural areas. But yes, it's changing in rural areas. Has not totally changed in the rural areas. And to the urban areas and to the remote areas, it is like the same. The same traditions are being followed. Yes, out of 10 houses, 9 houses into the remote areas, we are living in an